Welcome to another episode of Value Seller Talks with Deepak Bajaj. Today, we are honored to have Benno, a distinguished financial and business strategist from Tanzania, a registered tax consultant with Tanzania Revenue Authority, as our guest. With a wealth of experience in setting up large telecommunication infrastructure for multinational companies, Benno is a business startup specialist as well. His expertise span across IT, finance, taxes, organizational transformation, digitization, making him an invaluable asset in the world of business strategy. Benno is also a motivational speaker and empower trainer dedicated to inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs in Africa. Let's delve into his journey and insights on transforming organizations and driving business success. So welcome, Benno.
Thank you very much, Mr. Beck.
Yeah, pleasure is
My
all
pleasure
for
to
us.
be here.
The same with us as well. Thank you for sparing your time.
And thank
Benno,
you.
I know the list is long, right? You are doing a lot of things. But before we move forward, we would like to
Yeah.
know a Benno as a person first.
Thank you. Ben as a person is a family person, a family man, and an advocate of continuous learning, growing my learning curve every day. I believe in daily learning and continuous learning. I believe in mentoring others and inspiring others to progress from the difficult situation to a better situation, from a difficult environment to a better environment, from not doable things to doable. And I inspire to live, nothing is impossible under the sun, as long as you put effort. That's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, and your can-do attitude is actually a motivational for many. So
Yes, please.
thank you for empowering the community, especially the people coming from the rural side of the Africa.
Yes, thank you.
So, Mano, your career spans with a significant contribution, especially in the telecommunication and the financial sectors. So, can you share with us how your journey began?
So my journey began early during those days when I acquired my first degree on commerce and management at the University of Dar es Salaam. And then I joined Chevron Corporation, which is a multinational company, with an energy company, American-based. That's where I learned massive of experience in terms of how the systems operate, in terms of process management, compliances. And to be honest, that's the company inspired me to invest heavily on IT and bridging the gap between finance and IT. Because one of the strengths in American companies was to ensure that they are very IT compliant and there's a lot of security features. So that took me to a better position to join Helios Tower, which is a telecom infrastructure company, as one of key startup team. And then as a result, now I'm in Tower of Africa, another telecom company. But it was, I must say, heavily experiences was gained in Helios Tower, where I used to work in different capacities from the entry point to system development. I happened to work in different countries, sharing my experience in DRC, sharing my experience in Congo Brazzaville, and then in London head office. So that's where I had a lot of learning in terms of Lean Six Sigma, system development, and I happen to be one of the champ in the system development, big system like SAP implementation.
Yeah, and the good part of this multinational that you get exposure to most of the things when you are in the early, in the beginning phase or in the inception stage.
Sure, because a telecom infrastructure company, big companies, they've got massive investments. There's a lot of startup activities. During startup, it takes you towards too many activities, both regulatory compliances, taxes. You have to go through different organizations. You have to go through different other multinationals as well, key stakeholders, come across investors. You work hand in hand with top management on day-to-day basis. And then you require a lot of sophisticated technologies to make sure that you're managing all the portfolios. And that involve raising funds, that involve having proper business plans, having proper financial models and all that.
Right, right. No, very well said and very well articulated. Thank you for bringing it up. So, if I look at your major role as a involvement in setting up a telecommunication infrastructure, multinational companies in Africa, especially in the eastern part of the Africa. So, what are the key challenges which you have faced, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, that's a tough one. The key challenges, honestly, is the landscape in different countries, the way different countries operate, the cross-cultural of the teams. You know, some are French territories, some are Indian communities, some are European communities, some are a West Africa community. And, you know, the culture, the cross-cultural, the cultural diversity, that's something very challenging. And that's how you should be able to manage. And that's, to be honest, the key secret, emphasizing in terms of communication and mutual respect. Of course, if you don't respect the people you work with, if you don't respect the different culture, if you don't respect the fact that the person is made the way it's made and the person behaves the way it behaves, you need to know how to deal with these people and interact with them, get what you want, and get things done through people, because as one individual, you cannot deliver anything. And the other thing is the regulatory requirement in these different countries. You walk through different countries, they've got different regulations, different permit, different experience. You may end up in messing around if you're not well integrated with the local community. But the other thing is a strong leadership and commitment to continuous improvement. If you don't improve yourself day after day, morning to evening, then you will end up having a situation where you will not be able to work with others and being able to align with the company goals. So you have personal goals and then you have company goals. These two things goes hand in hand. You would like to achieve ABC. The company would like to achieve ABC. How do you leverage the technology? How do you do the decision making together? And then the key success factor, to be honest, is having the right mentorship.
Yeah.
If you have the right mentorship, a group of mentors, every time you come across a program, you take a step back and understand what is going on, how best you can do it better, and then you change the strategy and move forward.
Mentorship and grouping with the like-minded people is the key to success.
Exactly.
I should not say it's a networking. It's about, the people, the surroundings, make a lot of difference.
Sure, sure.
So first of all, congratulations. You have been now a registered tax consultant in the Tanzania regulatory, and also you attended a value seller workshop some time back. So what is your next dream true journey?
Thank you first for congratulations. It has been a pleasure. It's my birthday month. I was raised in sometimes in July. So I consider last year, which was a very big success to me, to be registered as a tax consultant in Tanzania. That certificate is not an easy job to get. You have to prove track record. You have to make sure that you're compliant in all fairness in the regulations. And you have practiced enough to be able to be certified with the Tanzania Revenue Authority. So that to me is a very great milestone. So my next move is to ensure that that knowledge now is transferred to whoever who needs, being it an investor, who is an entrepreneur, a group of people that I'm doing mentorship to them. I disseminate knowledge across everyone's, and to make sure that the people surrounding me are enjoying the benefit of my certifications and the experience that I have, because that's a door opener. You have any issue to do with the tax, I walk in and resolve, and that's what I'll use my certificate for the next few years to come. Being that as a door opener, I see so many opportunities coming across, and open to grasp those opportunities within and outside the reach.
Yeah, and obviously this aligned with your purpose of giving back to the community. So if you're supporting
Exactly.
these
Yeah.
startups and the other entrepreneurs, who are not a big size, So definitely this is going to give a lot of hand holding. So best of
Sure,
luck
sure.
for your
Thank
new purpose, and most of the people don't have a purpose in their life. So
you.
for setting it.
Thank you.
Uh, when it comes to the organization, right? So your expertise is one of the expertise I must say is in a organizational transformation. So what are the essential elements required to successfully transform the organization, and specifically how do you implement them?
So technically, there are two or three things, but the major thing I will tell you is the clear vision. So the organization transformation start with the clear vision of the organization at large, but the strong leadership within that organization. If they carry the vision, and they are able to translate it into the journey that they would wish, then that's a sponsor number one. So the organization top leadership are becoming your first sponsor before you do anything. And then the next level, I use the Lean Six Sigma approach. As you may be aware, I'm a certified Lean Six Sigma. So with the commitment to continuous improvement, see, identify the gap, and then where are the gaps as is process and as to be process. So the transformation start by understanding what is your current situation as of now, and where were you supposed to be, and what is your vision, and then through that process you start developing step-by-step approach to improve those gaps. And then if you have stakeholders engagement, you have to engage them, the key stakeholders, whether the regulatory, whether the board, whether the shareholders, whether the investors, are they all aligned to the organization goals? As I clearly said before, majority of the organization have transformed. There's a misalignment between top management, the owner of the business, and the other key stakeholders. The shareholders and the investor, they would wish to maximize their worth, grow their portfolio. But the management would wish to maximize the profitability of the organization. So that's conflicting kind of, I've given you my house to manage it. I would wish to produce one house, a second house, third house. I'm doing a real estate business, and you're just making one house very neat and clean. You're not expanding my portfolio. So the organization transformation also goes with the data-driven decision making. What are the data? What are the data that I have? How do I transform this data into decision making? And then the technology, as I said, I bridge the gap between finance and IT. So I use a lot of technologies to make sure that whatever I want to move to a next step, fix a gap, I bring in automation and leverage technology.
Right, right. No, that's and importantly, when the example is very right, that you cannot make only one house clean, the other houses will go dirty, or they cannot be ignored, right? And that's it's a mindset transformation rather than a organizational transformation. So the vision should be clear, steps should be clear, responsibility metrics should be clear, and the person should be accountable.
Sure.
Right, perfect. Just give me So, Benno, you are often engaged in motivational speaking and empowerment of training. So, what drives your passion for inspiring others, as well as what message do you find which impact most to the audience?
You are breaking up.
Okay, let me ask again. So, am I audible now?
Yes, please go
Okay.
ahead.
So Benno, you are engaged in the motivational speaking and empowerment of the training.
Yeah.
Right. So what drives your passion to inspire others, and what message do you share with your audience? And by the way, who is your target audience also?
So I'll begin with what drives me to inspire others and train others.
Yeah.
So I was born and raised in a very pure community back in the village, and the struggle to make it has been real. And from nowhere to somewhere is a journey indeed. Honestly, I can say the struggle, the pain points that I went through the journey. And when I look at the young generation and my colleague, whether my classmate and everyone else, I would wish to give more from what I do have as part of my continuous learning and disseminate as soon as, so it's like bringing in some knowledge, massaging it and giving it out to the community. The reason for that is I believe the more you give out to the community, the more you train others to deliver, you impose skills. There are technical skills and there are soft skills. We get the technical skills in classes, in universities, but the soft skills, the decision-making skills, the efficiencies, the things like automation, things like all these data analytics, artificial intelligence tips, Microsoft Advanced Excels, macros, and all these, they are highly needed to ensure that the team execute in their workplaces, the team use it in their entrepreneurs, people use it as entrepreneurs, and even investors at large. So generally, I like to embrace the change. And because I learned a lot from all failures that I've gone across, I would wish to build a strong network of the people who work with me and the people surrounds me to make sure that we create more value, resilience, and definitely continue learning and having adaptability day after day. And with that, I use technology, whether it's LinkedIn, professional network. If I get audience to speak, if I got people to mentor, and you know, it's very common in Africa to have small groups, community groups, village groups, classmate groups, all those platforms, teamwork, several initiatives can be done at the organization as well. All those audience, whatever happens, whenever I get a chance, my job is to disseminate knowledge. But my next target audience really is the professionals, professionals like in LinkedIn, where I put a lot of tax insights, different knowledge, different skill set, investment tips, and so forth. And I've been doing it for years and years. And my experience working in different nations, nationalities, and multicultural differences bring together that need. And I see the need for others to know what I would gain in a particular period of time.
Yeah. You rightly mentioned. Yeah, we have seen you are very active on LinkedIn nowadays, and you know, the knowledge which you are sharing with the people is real, is practical. So thank you for that, and I wish you will continue, because spending the time on sharing the knowledge is it's a time consuming job, right? It will eat your brain, it will eat your bandwidth, it will eat your time. So yeah, but if your purpose is clear, which you have, so definitely it will empower many people in your community as well as across the globe. Thank you.
Yeah.
So when we talk about a startups, right? So the financial modeling and building businesses are the crucials in the startup world, right? So can you walk us through your approach to create effective financial models and business plans?
So you remind me on the things that I've been doing over and over. So understanding the business model, and that's a very key assumption. Each business has different assumption, has different dynamics, has different mission and vision. So as I said, the clear goal of key stakeholders, the investors have different missions. Some of them have got merger and acquisition. Some of them, they will buy, improve the company and sell out. Some of them, they will accumulate different portfolios, buy here, acquire here, acquire here, acquire there. But the key things is understanding the business model and the market analysis, the financial projection. But most important is having realistic assumptions. Now, if you don't have realistic assumptions, you will not end up having with the proper model. but the flexibility to fine-tune the model as you go along with the business. The business environment are extremely turbulent. So you may come up with your model today, and then tomorrow things changes. There's a new tax laws, like in Tanzania, they've enacted a new tax laws. There's no foreign currency transaction unless the commissioner decide otherwise, unless the central bank issue another regulations. There are new tax finance act enacted and it's in effect from 1st July, Finance Act 2024. So all the things, they are very key in terms of, but also effective communication. Yeah. If you don't communicate properly with the key stakeholders, again, all the people who are carrying that mission, all the people who are intending to invest, or the business, there's a lot. But again, you have to do monitoring and adjustment. As the business goes on, you have to adjust on day-to-day basis, whether it's on a quarterly basis, whether it's on a monthly basis. You have to adjust the model and make sure that the model is aligned to the business and the business is growing. As the business grows, the model should be growing. It's like, I call it a moving document. It's a living organism, it's something which need to live with you. And that's a call for most of the investors sometimes. Continuity, but the business continuity aspect of it need to be very, very important. The model should be able to grow with the business regardless of who is running the model.
Yeah, very well said, very well mentioned. Now, coming on sticking on the same point, the very important for every startup or the organization is to raise their fund. So, and you are successfully funding through different financial institutes. So what strategies you employ and what advice you will give to the organizations who are struggling to get the fund raised?
That's a good one. Just understand, anyone will find something which makes sense and which has a potential in terms of growth. So investors understand what they are after, and they have learned for a period of time. And majority of these investors may come from entrepreneurial approach. They were entrepreneurs, they grow within the business, so they understand at large what they are looking for. Again, on the other hand, the funders, they understand different businesses. They've been evaluating so many businesses. They've been dealing with different business cases. They've been dealing with different investors. They've built investors' relationship over a period of time. They can easily refer A, B, C, and compare what you are trying to achieve. So demonstrating a proper potential in terms of the business growth is very important. Demonstrating how your business will be financed, for how long, and the return on investment, and how are you able to pay back the funds that you are looking for is very important. And there are different aspects of raising fund, whether through internal approach, internal generated or external, whether you are sourcing the fund within the nation or outside the nation, within the country or outside the country, within the key stakeholders, or depending on the nature of how you are sourcing the fund. But all in all, the key strategies are to make sure that they are clear and compelling business case. And the very big tool is the strong investors relationship. Whether you have a very good business idea, but you don't have the relationship, and these things grow with time. People knows Benno, people knows Deepak, who to finance and why, the background history. How have you been running your business? How have you been putting your numbers? Are you compliant enough? Nobody's funding someone who is not compliant. Are you involved in any risks business? They do all these assessment. But the most important thing is just being persistent, transparent, and prepared to negotiate. So you have to know how to negotiate the deals, the fund that you are looking for. There's back and forth, there's due diligence, there's a lot of process behind the numbers that will make and raise the investors' confidence to fund your business.
And one thing which I want to add here is, after speaking with many startups, they have a great ideas, but at the end of the day, they are not credible. The investors don't see them as credible. Relationship will definitely matter, but they will only make up relationship with the credible person. And that could be where, how they have to position themselves, how they have to make a, to make a noise in the world, whether they exist or not. So
So to comment on that, Deepak, and this is the difference between multinationals and the other companies which they are not being able to finance, even if they've got very great business idea. And here is the secret. Majority of business startup in most of the countries, they start like individuals, sometimes companies, but they are not compliant from day one.
correct.
You need to be compliant from day one. You need to have proper systems from day one. Tax regulations, regulatory frameworks, understand the entire business regulation, the industry that you are in. What are the key things that you need to make sure that when you are starting your journey today, year one of year one, and you are looking for your growth for 10 years, 20 years, short-term, long-range plan, you need to understand, so people will come 5 years later, want to fund you, and you were not compliant on day one of your startup.
Mm.
So what I usually advise people is from day one, be compliant. Be compliant from day one. Make sure your numbers make sense from day one. Don't work partially in the system, partially outside the system. It is all said, pay proper taxes. When you pay taxes properly, the only thing that you'll benefit from it is that you are first compliant. You are putting your record. And then once your record are clean, then you are able to compile your business plan and financial models based on the past records. You'll be auditable. Once you are audited and the audit, you don't have any audit issues, that means anyone will be more than happy to work with you. You have a nice business idea, strong and sound. You are compliant. You have track records. You are able to tell your sales for the past 5 years, 10 years. But to be able to do that, you need to have financial systems. You need to have proper you have to have an ERP system, which is well audited, well configured, well implemented with all the controls, segregation of duties and all that. And you keep improving day after day.
So agree. That's a good message, a strong and a very, very important message, because people don't realize that why they have to spend their energy in becoming a compliant from day one. Right. But thank you for bringing the real insight with the corporate world is looking for and expecting from the startups and the entrepreneurs. You are always a great learner, and we know you are a Six Sigma black belt certified as well. So how do you apply these principles in and the processes in your projects or in your professional journey?
Yeah, so the principle of Lean Six Sigma is all about, if you have heard me several times, measuring continuous improvement. What we are saying in this principle is everything goes with a process. So it's a process management thing, which gap, what are the gaps? The gaps are a result of the process failure. Do you have the process in place? Do you have the standard operating procedure in place? Do you have everything it takes, the process workflows? Have you put process in place? Are they functioning? If you're bringing in a system, is it functioning according to the process in place? Not that your company need to follow the systems. So what is it all about? It's all about identifying the gap. What are the bottlenecks? Having data, analyzing those data, and then having the methodology on how to improve the gaps from the analytics that you're doing. If it's a process, what are the process failure? If it's a project, how should you, who are the key stakeholders? What are the project sponsors? Who is to do what at what time? We are talking of downtime. We are talking of all the things that was a continuous improvement, whether it's a 5S, whether from all the level, from the orange bed to black bed, we are talking of continuous improvement and feedbacking the loops. So you start from point A, you go all along to point B. And what are the gaps throughout from step A to step B? And how do I improve? How do I prevent future recurrence? What are the root cause analysis? What are the key stakeholders involved in making sure that the improvement journey is taking its shape? What are the blockers? So it's to me, I call it like an application. It's like a system that I do apply in my project. So every task, I term it as a project. Underneath project, I can put different subtasks, sub-projects. Under each sub-project, I can embed different subtasks. And then I run my processes, I run my duties, and based on that approach, and make sure that if you are there to identify the gap, then tomorrow you'll not have any gap. So you'll be on an improvement cycle. So you call it, you start the process. After studying the process, you establish what to do, and then you learn the results, and then you standardize if the results are good. And then you go back again and again and again. It's a revolving cycle. And then that way it makes everything into a more efficient way. And that's the principle. And to be honest, there's a lot of knowledge behind it. There's a lot of projects you can do to make sure that you improve as an organization, as an individual, at any point in time. If you apply these principles, you'll be in a very, even in the safety, even when you are driving your car, you have to know which gap.
You have to know the rules of the game and
exactly. Exactly.
Very well mentioned, Benno. Thank you for that. Your experience in ERP, full ERP Sage Cross 3 and SAP implementation. So, what are the factors, the critical factors for the successful SAP implementation? Because most of the people are not aware about it. And how do you ensure that it meets your business needs?
So, as I said, I bridge the gap between finance and IT. Majority of finance, they lack IT staff. The majority of IT, they lack finance. So having both, so my Bachelor of Commerce and then my Master's in System Development, and several courses in IT gives me a lot of insights on how to make sure that from the business requirement point of view. So it begins with the business requirement. It's the company, it's the business that needs a system, not the system needs the business. So if you have the business requirement properly documented and well understood and communicated to all stakeholders, yes, you may have business requirements, true, but key stakeholders are not aware, they are not involved in understanding the business requirement because there are very few people may carry the vision and the mission if it is not well communicated. So the business requirement is number one. And then number two is the effective project management. How do I manage the implementation project? Because we are saying in project management, and you'll agree with me, the more you add people in the project, the more the complexity. So if you are two of us, me and you, we are discussing on how to make our system, it will be very fast. The moment we bring a third person who was not in an initial discussion, and then we have to restart it from the beginning. So effective project management is key in the system implementation. But the other thing is the stakeholders engagement. How do you engage the key stakeholders? You have the implementer, you have the system seller who is issuing the license, you have the business, and the business is the challenge because people keep changing in that business every day. You started with a project 10 people in the project. By the time you finish up implementation, you may have 20, or you have 5, or you may have completely new people.
Correct.
So how do you standardize? How do you map all the processes? So people need to follow the principles on the system developments. How do you manage the cross-cultural? As I said, people talk different language. People have different understanding. And you carry the vision, and then you put it into business requirement. You translate it to someone take it and discuss with the implementer deliver. So, and I usually tell people, you want a system that stands like this, a developer will develop a system will stay like this. So that's, and the other thing is, how do you customize the business needs? Because the system has a cost structure. And the other thing, how do you do proper training? How do you support people? How do you support people? And the most important thing before I do anything, I usually start with change management.
Right.
So it's the change management training, or including bringing everyone in the loop, understanding why they need a new system or an implementation, buying in, bringing them that this is something good for them, because there's also the things called technology acceptance model. People will always reject the system regardless of whether it's good for them or it's bad for them. They have a resistance to change. So you have to take them through the change management curve, understand what is their position, what is their thought of the new system, and then you collect some business requirements from them, adjust what you have, take it back to the prototype, show them how the system, and all that step by step. But the most key success factor that I usually use is the evaluations and evaluating the project milestone. So you have proper project milestone at each stage. What do you need to look at each stage? Where do we go wrong? Where do we fall short? What are we doing best and what we are not doing best? Where are the gaps? Again, the Lean Six Sigma approach, you can apply it here, and then you continuously improve step by step. And the key milestone that I've been very tricky on it, I usually deliver things that will make end user more interactive with the system, and we like it first. I don't deliver the modules that are difficult. So I don't develop or implement a system to an end and then handle to the user. No, I bring in users in the middle of the implementation for them to experience and for me to understand their position and evaluate what exact they are after and how can we tweak. So the UAT testing becomes part of the pre-production kind of.
Right. No, yeah, you mentioned the process, you mentioned where the starting point, which most of the people are missing. And these are the really crucial steps to reach to the scale which you are looking for. Right. So
Yes,
thanks for bringing these insights. In the interest of time, when I move directly to the last question, where we really need and seek your advice, which you want to share with the aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to make a mark in the business world, especially these are the youth who represent the countries.
Well, for me, the general advice to the youth, and I really encourage the youth to be curious enough to understand change is part of their life. And every day, every moment, they will experience some changes. They should learn from their failures. I've failed several times. I'll continue failing, but I will learn from the failures day after day. Even the people, you can understand now, they've developed artificial intelligence. Back those days, 2011, when we were implementing several softwares on a scan and select, we were using artificial intelligence at a very small scale. But now you can see the AI has massively taken over a lot of human interventions and so forth.
Yeah.
Again, for youth, my fellow colleagues and so forth, build strong network, professional network, seek mentorship. This is something you may understand our journey through your mentorship project, through your mentorship program. We have reached to this level of having a conversation one-on-one today. If you don't have proper mentorship, you will end up into a mess, because a human being has some limitation. I was joking to my colleague, and this is something you may take to my fellow youth. We all have water pumps. So the water pumps in our houses, they pump water from the tank and distribute. And if you have learned it carefully, a maximum of 1 year, 2 years, the pump needs some repairs. But you have this a little pump which is called a heart. Ever since you were born, it has been busy day and night. You see, it has never been taken for any maintenance or repair. So that means that gives you the complexity a human being has. So you need to learn and adapt and have a mentor to guide you. And then most important, also create value. Be resilient enough and have the continuous learning and adaptability. Continuous learning. Learn day after day. There is no reason why you should not learn. There are plenty of materials all over the world. There's this artificial intelligence just at your computer. You can place it and learn everything. Nothing is impossible under the sun. But for telecom professionals as well, the telecom industry requires technical expertise, and you need to have a lot of soft skills, problem-solving skills. So I know that a lot of young generation, they would wish to join telecom industry, but having been, they should be aware of the telecom industry, the trend of the telecom industry. I every day read the trends, what is happening on the telecom industry. But most effective, most important for young generation and for my colleagues, effective communication, teamwork, understanding some technicalities on how to deal into different business aspects. So in a nutshell, this is my advice. And I usually say, a normal saying is, don't stay with the same people every day, with the same thing every day. No, keep growing your network. Bring new people into your life. They will tell you they will challenge you. You take the challenge, you bring them forward, and then implement. Learn from your mistakes. Continuous learning. Build up your career rather day after day. Start small, start doing it. My first post in LinkedIn sometimes ago, I was even shaking. Do I make sense on what I'm trying to do? But then I got used to inspire others. And honestly, 10,000 viewers every post impression and so forth. It's massive to me. It gives me motives when people write to me, when people call me, Benno, I've learned something about tax. I'm inspired with what you are doing. And it gives me more energy during my extra time to explore what I can share and mentor others. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Like the first step is always difficult, and which you rightly mentioned. Be ready to accept the failures, right? That's the key motive. But it doesn't make that you don't start taking the risk. Take the risk. Maybe we are not perfect, but progression is the key to success.
Sure.
Thank you, Benno, for sharing your invaluable insights and experiences with us today. Your journey and accomplishment in the telecommunication industry, finance industry, IT industry is truly inspiring. So thank you for your time, Benno.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to come in anytime you need, anytime we have similar conversations. It's for mutual success for both of us. Thank you for reaching me. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best in your journey.
Thank you, Benno. Definitely there are a lot of new learning which me personally have learned, as well as the audience who are connected with us globally. They will also learn from your insights as well. And obviously to the audience, the people who are willing to take some steps or who want to start something in Tanzania, so Benno is the right person who can guide you and assist you in your journey. So until next time, this is Deepak Bajaj signing off. Thank you, Benno.
Bye. Cheers. Bye.